natural beauty, I think that's acceptable, but I mean,
The overkill is
crazy.
crazy.
It's obviously there's overkill for sure, and I think that's just like, I mean, I don't care for it,
but some guys like
some
that and
guys
go for
like
that.
it.
Wait,
That's like catfishing.
Are you willing to concede that it is deceptive
Myself,
to wear makeup?
to some extent, sure, yeah,
No, to any extent.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then isn't it really just a double standard to say this deception is okay and this one over here is not okay?
It's a good point.
I mean, if
Andrew.
you're,
I think it goes off of what the guy's into. Like, if the guy's into a girl that he wants to look like that, then he's obviously
you
into
could
it.
say, but you could say that about anything, right? Like
Yeah.
serial killers are okay as long as the person's into getting killed by serial killers, right? It's just a nonsense way to look at a thing. Is it deceptive across the board? Is it deceptive to wear makeup? Is the purpose of it to show something which is not actually true? I would argue that it is. I'm not even saying there's a problem with doing it. I'm just arguing that it is to show something which is not actually true.
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so I mean, if that's the case, then wouldn't it just be it would just be deceptive both ways, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Ultimately.
I think the deception is more acceptable on one side than the other. I mean, what guy doesn't?
And that's
think,
where I wanted to get.
But what
finally,
guy
with that.
doesn't?
Why
like,
is
thinks
one
that's what a woman
deception
actually
okay,
looks
the
like?
other deception is not?
Because it's okay. It's okayed by the other party.
Why though?
Yeah, but it's
mean?
not really.
You have
The
It's
guy
not
is
really
saying, "I'm okay." And maybe some guys might want. I prefer a natural look, but some guys might want this like Kardashian look or whatever the thing is that's popular.
Yeah, but they don't. But they don't know
BBL
what's
or whatever
underneath,
that is.
right? They don't know what's
Right,
underneath.
I think that's totally deceptive. But
Okay, if that's the case, then let's explore and see if
But
that is
just
actually
putting,
the
like,
case. If a man shows
one-
up, if a man says he's 6'2", and he shows up and he has on height enhancing gear, lifts of some kind, and you can't detect him, but later you find out, okay, he was wearing lifts, okay, and that's why he was 6'2". You would consider that to be highly deceptive, right?
yeah, and I would relate the thing that would make more sense to relate is a woman lying about her weight and like showing up for a date 20 or 30 pounds heavier than she said. I don't think a coat of mascara and some lip gloss is on the same level of deception.
True.
Yeah, but why not? I don't really understand the delineation
Because
point
what
here.
person- what
Because the
man-
idea seems to come down to, you just say, but some men could prefer that. But the truth is that women are covering up what they actually look like.
Yeah.
How would the man know if he prefers her without makeup if he's never actually seen her without it?
I think that some guys just like a fake look in general. They don't maybe want to even see what she looks like. And some guys prefer a really natural look, and then the over the top is
So you
unattractive to
think
them.
he just wants to date the chick for the rest of his life with her just always having a suit of makeup on so he doesn't
I
have to see what
think
she looks
in
like? really?
nowadays culture, unfortunately, I think that feeds into each other. That culture feeds into the guy and the girl both like that. You know, it's just
You think that men genuinely would just prefer to just
some,
never
not the
see
men
their
that I'm
woman's
attracted
actual face?
not the men that I'm attracted to, but yes, it appears that way. It appears that way based off of
It does not appear that
media,
way.
and I think it does.
And by the way, there's no way to make the comparison anyway. So even if I were to grant that, well, men would still prefer that you like hide your hideous face, let's say in this instance, and only makeup is what's stopping it from being hideous. They still wouldn't have a frame of reference to know what it actually looked like. So it would still be a deception either way. How would it not be a deception?
I think that any guy who like thinks a girl who clearly has makeup on naturally looks like that might not be the smartest tool in the shed, Like, I don't know. I think he knows she's wearing makeup.
Yeah, but the frame of reference for how much different she would look absent the makeup is not there.
Right, and so that's why there's a scale. So if you
There's
look
a
like
scale of deception?
if you look like a completely different person is one thing, and I think that's like, that would be really unfortunate. Like, I would not want to be a guy who woke up next to a girl and was like, wow, who the hell are you? I didn't take you
Neither
home
would
last
I.
night.
That would suck, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is that they both seem to just be the same deception, just played on the opposite end.
To still know who the person is and recognize their faces, and like, I think that's not deceptive. I think that's like putting on a dress that accentuates your features. Like, I don't.
So deceptive?
No, I mean, it's like, doesn't a man want to shave and put on a nice suit or do his hair in a certain way, whatever,
Yeah, but that's
you know?
but you're making my point for me is that I think that that deception played is only men being punished for the deception, even if they're deceiving.
No, but you're only using one
And your
example
kind
with
of
the
social
height.
standard here is that women should not be punished for the deception, only men. That's what the point is.
No, but
I'm not
you're-
saying both aren't deceiving each other.
But you're
I'm
only
just saying, why is one more socially acceptable than the other?
You're only using the example of height, and I think the thing that is a better comparison for height would be women just lying about their weight, and I do think that's equally as wrong as lying about your height.
I mean, great, but we're not talking about that. And we're talking about makeup itself. And
I don't
while
think
I
that's
can
a good
grant that you
comparison.
even made a better comparison with deception, I'm still asking about the makeup comparison here because that does seem to be deception.
I think makeup and haircuts are like at the same value of deception, because like a haircut can make a guy look really good, and obviously if they grow out their hair, it's like
Or a
they
balding
look-
guy wearing a hat.
Well, they're all the same, like, principle, I think.
Still
like, they're all,
deceptive,
yeah,
right?
they're
It's
all
still
a form of
deceptive.
deception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
agree.
I don't know if you could argue if one's worse than the other, but they're all like
Deceptive.
Yeah, it's the same principle.
So,
Yeah.
so I guess my ultimate point here, so we don't belabor it forever, is just to say that I think that both sides deceive each other when it comes to dating by trying to put their best foot forward. I think that there's many examples that you've even cited here yourself, right? Perhaps they wear a hat to cover up the fact that they're balding, or perhaps they wear a dress on the other end to accentuate their features, or perhaps they try to hide weight, and perhaps the other one tries to add height. The only distinction here that I see is that it seems to be socially acceptable for women to do this, but not for men to do this. And I guess that's where we're actually diving and driving this point towards.
And I don't think it's acceptable for women to lie about their weight, specifically.
I think they do it all the time.
I don't think it's acceptable.
Oh, okay. How much do you weigh?
I weigh 130.
Exactly?
I was 129.5 last time, so I'm just assuming that I'm 130 right now, because it's the end of the day.
Okay. Well, then the gal next to you, how much do you weigh?
Me, left or right?
No. To your, I think it would be to your right.
190, 188
Oh.
the last time I weighed myself.
Next, how much do you weigh?
132.7.
Next,
158. I gained weight.
I haven't weighed myself in a while, like 120.
okay.
How much do you weigh?
Do you have a scale in there, Brian?
I do not have a scale.
We need to get a
unfortunately.
scale for when this happens.
I will
because,
get one. I will
yeah.
definitely get one. We should do that.
We should.
We should do that.
Yeah, because
do
like
it.
weight's like a big thing. I feel like if you lie about your weight, it's like, damn, if I see you in person, it's like,
Yeah, it's the same thing about
But
lying
see,
about your
you're-
height.
weight, true, for sure. Like, yeah, like what, okay, yes, 100% agree. Makeup is like, okay, you can wear makeup one day, not wear makeup another day. But yeah, I mean, like height, you can't really change. Weight, makeup, you can. But I mean,
I feel like you have to be really good at makeup though to change how you really
no,
look.
for real.
People
I mean,
do.
Because
actually, not really. Not
I don't
really.
know.
Girls
At
be
least
looking
maybe
crazy.
guys lie to me, but they tell me I look the same with and without makeup. So maybe they're lying to me.
You
But
look the same. I feel like you look the same.
maybe
I
they're
mean-
lying to me. Maybe they're just lying to me. I don't know.
Maybe you're just
Like,
delusional.
why would you, if it didn't improve or change how you looked, why would you wear it to begin with?
Some people like it. Like people, like it's your form of
So I'm
art.
just going to waste a bunch of money and waste a bunch of time putting on something that
It's a hobby.
doesn't change how I look at all.
I prefer to not wear makeup, to be honest with you. But
Right, but women would not wear makeup if it didn't change their appearance for the better.
right,
Right.
yeah.
So if we can agree that it changes your appearance for the better, that's not how you actually look. It is
I mean, some
deceptive.
women don't do a very good job, and I think it makes them look worse,
Sure.
arguably.
Sure, that's a fair
don't
point
come
to
at me.
make.
Like really bad.
That's a fair point to make, but I think most.
They think that they're enhancing it, the person
Sure,
applying it.
there's-
Like, I
So.
look better, but like
That's
shit.
the exception to the rule, though. I would say most women will put on makeup, and it will tend to improve their physical appearance. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's get back into more notes. Do you want to finish your let me get through the notes first. Okay, we have. Let's go to Sarah. Finding out the guy I was hooking up with for 4 years
years
ago was in a relationship with Summer Rae the whole time.
Yeah.
The like influencer chick or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we hooked up for a little bit, and then a week
Is it
later.
Jake Paul?
No.
Oh, okay.
Is a director, like music video director.
The Lyrical Lemonade.
Yeah.
Oh, that's him. I was totally
Yeah.
guessing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cole Bennett, is that his
Yeah.
name?
Yeah. Yeah. He posted with Summer Rae like a week after I saw him. Like I was like, oh, okay. And then yeah,
Okay.
stopped talking to him.
Wait, so how long were you dating him?
We weren't dating. We were just
Oh,
yeah.
but he was in a monogamous relationship with Summer Rae while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it like a public thing? Like, how did you not know?
They posted publicly like a week
Oh.
after I saw him, yeah. So I don't know if they were like dating for like a month prior, like 2 months prior, and just didn't really like publicly announce it. But he's notorious for doing that apparently.
Huh.
Just
Did he
within
just
LA.
like ghost you after?
I stopped talking to him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If he. Oh wait, you're married.
I'm married.
Yeah, you're married.
But the answer is no. He did DM me. Oh, what was this? Like January of this year. I did not respond. I blocked him. So.
Just curious about your tattoos, really quick. I noticed you have some Pokemon tattoos. What can you? There's, or is
I
that
got
Kirby? No, that's
Yeah,
Kirby.
Kirby, Eevee, Mew, and then a Keyblade.
Kingdom Hearts. Okay, that's cool. Let's see, and then I think we already kind of talked all about the whole celibate until marriage thing. You don't do casual hookups, but you used to. Used to. Damn, that's a tough sell. You were like in the middle of a relationship with the dude, and then you're like, yeah, by the way, I don't want to fuck you anymore.
Well, it was kind of like a slow burner, long conversation. Took a while for me to actually commit to being celibate. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I get it. I get why he would be upset if, I get it.
All right. Any other crazy dating? Any other celebs you hooked up with and they were fucking other people?
No, I did sleep with one other celebrity, but
Who's that?
Ski Mask,
Who?
the Slump God, some rapper.
Who the fuck is that
I
guy?
have no idea who that is.
He's Cole Bennett's friend.
He's who?
Cole's friend.
So you fucked Cole and his best friend
Yeah, like a year apart.
a year apart.
Yeah.
Which one first?
Ski in
And then Cole.
2019. Yeah.
You get the rapper, then you get the music video guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I was in LA a lot.
How did you get in touch with them? Did
Well, I.
slide into the DMs or?
Yeah, I slid into Ski's DMs. This
Oh.
was like 2019. I DM'd him. He was on tour with Juice WRLD at the time, so he invited me. And then we had an on and off thing for like a year and then stopped talking. I was in LA. I got invited to some BET after party, and then Cole was there. That's how him and I started
I see.
talking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, going to Angelina. I should have gotten to some of these a little earlier, but so you say you're 38, 3 kids from the same man.
Nancy.
Huh?
My name's Nancy. On Instagram, it's
Angelina.
not Angelina. It says not Angelina.
Oh,
It's pretty private.
All right. You said you have 3 kids from the same man. Yes. You stripped. You did girl on girl.
Hold on a second.
What?
Let's just. I don't.
These were in the
right.
pre-show notes.
I know, but can we just be conscientious of like wording right here for certain
Dance.
reasons?
Okay.
You're concerned. Are you concerned that your kids are going to hear this?
Yeah, I mean, I told my daughters that I was going on the podcast, and they're older, but I'm going to really, like, my son likes this podcast because he's very into
Wait,
tradition.
How old's your son?
He's in 6th grade.
Wait, he shouldn't.
I know. Andrew
He
Tate
shouldn't
and
be
you guys.
dating.
No,
He shouldn't be dating.
He's not dating. In fact, he just told me his first week in middle school, he's like, Mom, somebody has a crush on me. And I was like, okay. And he said, but it's a little too early for
You know
me,
what,
and I'm
though?
not interested. And he's like, and I'm not interested.
I
And
listened
it's
to-
too early
yeah.
for me. And it's different for boys and girls, too. So.
Come to think of it, I was listening to Loveline when I was like in junior high
You know what? I
school.
was too, yeah.
Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I
guess it's
mean?
not that.
So let's just hold on a second.
Is this word? I feel like this show's probably more
Your son
tame
should not be watching this.
than Loveline. I think it's more tame than Loveline.
It's Loveline.
It's like a K-Rock
It was a radio
thing. Yeah.
show call people would call in.
Let's not talk about all of the notes that I said. What I will say, what I will,
Sent in the
I know,
notes.
and I forgot to say that I mentioned
Invite
on one.
me on the show and I'll talk about
Right,
this.
but hold on a second. I will say that my kid's dad. So going back to like wanting to be a virgin for your partner, right? I agree with that. In a perfect
Wait,
society.
that's not even the topic. What are you talking about?
It's going to tie into it.
Okay, all right.
So I was 18 when I met my kid's dad, and he was 25, I think. He lost his job. He was a mason, and then pressured me into stuff that was going to support us. And I was young, and that's what he said to do. And then I got pregnant. So it was a very short period of time, 2 years. Then I got pregnant, and I said, like, look, like, you gotta like get a job, man. And he did, and yeah. But this was, it was part of my past that I will say that I'm not proud of it, but I'm also, and I'm also not open about it. So it's just, it's the point of that is that like you can sometimes be in these situations and come out having, different values. Those weren't my values. I didn't like that. You know what I mean? I felt pressured into doing it from a man that I loved, that I thought I was going to be with forever. And I was with for 12 years.
I mean, you do include that in the notes. You say.
I know. Okay, let's.
Can you let me? Can you stop interrupting?
No, because I'm just want
you
you
can
to
stop. Okay, so you said at the insistence of your kid's father. Okay, that's all I was going to say.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I
just
mean,
kinda
I don't really understand it though. I mean, they're going to know all this shit sooner or later anyway.
But yeah, and it's just, I've been open with my daughters about stuff now that they're older, but
Okay.
it's not for everyone yet.
All right. So you.
And also another thing that I said as well, I'm going to say.
You want to preemptively.
Hillary
Okay, well, I
Epstein
just thought
donated
about some of this
$200. Comes on the podcast to discuss dating. Is too ashamed to discuss it because of her kids. Maybe that's a sign for all
I don't
youth
have
girls
OnlyFans.
and sex workers.
That is a good point.
Yeah,
Hillary
I don't have OnlyFans, and I do think that's a good point. Like when I think about you girls, like that say you want kids, you guys all say you want kids and stuff like that. Like you have to think about those things, Like this was a different time when I was 18. Like there wasn't OnlyFans, there wasn't like, it was just different. There's certain magazines that were out that aren't in existence anymore, that like it was just a different level of things. It wasn't $5.99 for like selling as part of your soul, I feel like.
Still sex work.
Wait, is mine sex work even though it's just dates?
It's.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Because at the end of the day, they're only going on dates with me because they want to.
I don't know.
I don't know.
No, right?
So
I wouldn't
what?
define it as sex.
What are the other things you want to preemptively tell me to not talk about?
I'm okay with the age gap thing, and we
Okay.
can talk about that.
I mean, I try to be reasonable with people, but
We can talk about the age gap.
it's just like, here, invite me on your show, and here's what I like. You're like, it's like a fraudulent inducement.
Yeah, I was.
No, but it's like
planning
somebody's
on,
like, let me on the show. I'll talk about X, Y, Z. I invite you on
No,
the show,
I understand.
and then you refuse to talk about X, Y, Z. It's kind of like, whatever. It's
yeah,
okay. I'm
no,
not- I'm
I
not
just
gonna
thought it was
press
going to be
but
framed a
it's
little
just
bit
bit
differently,
frustrating.
and I also thought we'd talk about some other topics like politically.
You said you were also liberal until your mid-20s,
Yeah.
a Democrat until 2019, ex-vegan, and now you're a hardcore conservative Trump supporter. Although I do still have some sexually liberal viewpoints still personally, but I'm very against a certain agenda, which I'm not
Yes.
going to name. I've been broken up from the father of my kids for 8 years.
Yeah.
Only date guys from Texas talked about that because California guys are mostly trash. Going to used to be liberal when you were young, Democrat until 2019, ex-vegan, now hardcore conservative Trump supporter. But you have some sexually liberal viewpoints still. What are those?
Yeah. Well, so I would say that I think it's like threesomes, for instance. I think that those are acceptable and really dependent on the discussion that you have with your partner.
And like boy, girl threesome?
I would, in a relationship with a man, which is the only kind of relationship I'm in, I'm open to girl, guy.
Okay.
Wait. You're right. You don't want the boy to know that you strip, but you're okay with him knowing that you would be willing to engage in a threesome. I just want to make sure I got that correct.
Okay.
Is that
well, thanks
am I-
for putting
am I
the
off base
words
here?
out there like that. Yeah, I feel like I've watched some of this show, and I thought we might be talking about more like political stuff. So I was kind of,
Wait,
you
it's
know,
dating.
I know
we
it is, but you do talk about it a
yes,
lot,
we
and
do
I was
talk
really
about
looking
political
forward
stuff,
to that.
But the political stuff, while it comes up, tends
Yeah.
to be secondary
Okay.
to the dating conversations.
Okay.
I'll just point that out.
So I guess I'm just trying to say that you can, you can have had a certain past, and then you could change it.
I mean, truthfully, I don't really. If you want to have threesomes, I don't really have any objections there.
Yeah, but I think that some people are against that are more conservative.
Okay.
You
Did
know?
you
Yeah,
said
I'm against that 100%.
Yeah,
but
see?
I don't want to get
really
bogged down.
Don't understand at all how the idea
Hey,
that
can you guys stop
the-
talking over there?
that your past could be brought up here when it comes to these decisions as it relates to dating. Somehow that's taboo, but this idea that you would be open to having a three-way is not taboo. I really don't understand that at all.
Well, because like I said, I'm not proud of and regret the past decisions. This is something
Why?
that I'm.
Why the fuck would you be not proud of any of those? If you're willing to have a three-way, what the hell? Who gives a shit about whatever these other like tangential things are? Who cares? Like, why would that even be a big deal? If you're willing to share your man and let him fuck other women in front of you, why in the world would whatever your past is be in any way problematic? I don't even understand that. Like, you're willing to watch him suck another dude off in front of you, but the past, that's a little too problematic. I really do need to understand this.
That why I'm okay with threesomes and not okay with my past.
I assume that you say, okay, well, this former thing I did, I felt some shame about. That's why you don't like it, right? But currently, you're willing to sit in the cuck chair while your husband does another chick. Is that correct?
I don't think that scenario would turn out that way. But
Which way? How would this scenario turn out?
I wouldn't be sitting in a chair.
Yeah, right. No. You'd be participating, right?
Stroking.
But if you were participating, and you were watching, you would be watching your husband bang another chick, or your significant other bang another chick in front of you. Right?
So I
mean,
think
is that the case?
that men are designed biologically to want to be with lots of women. I think that's just designed that way biologically with their DNA. in a hope to spread their seed more, to replicate their DNA, right?
I'll
That's
just
biologically
grant all of
it,
this.
right?
I just
For
grant
me
every
as a
bit of it.
girl, I wouldn't. I don't think it's okay to be with another man, but I think that sometimes if you can open that up in your relationship, it can be really fulfilling and prevent cheating sometimes as well.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to kind of grant all of the idea that men want to sleep with multiple women and this and that. I have no problem just granting all of this. What I do have a problem granting is what in the world could you possibly look at in your past that you would consider to be shameful if you're okay sharing your husband with or significant other with another woman? How is that not kind of the ultimate form of shame?
Because that's a private thing that you've both agreed upon in your relationship. Not
Yeah, but
something on a public
that's not any
forum.
less shameful. There's cucks who agree to allow their wife to get banged by other dudes. That doesn't make it less shameful because it's private.
I think a man letting his wife be touched by another man is very different than a girl having a wife having a threesome with her.
Oh, I'd
husband with a
love to
girl.
hear what the delineation is.
Sorry.
Really? It's kind of mind-blowing that you can't determine, like, you don't see a difference with the two.
Yeah, that's not an argument. Just saying, I'm incredulous about your incredulity is not an argument. I'd actually like to know what is the distinction between you being the cuck and him being the cuck. What is the distinction? If he's plowing another chick and you're allowing him to do it, how can I ever gauge that you are a person who has self-respect? If I would never consider a man who would allow the same the other way, I would never give him any form of self-respect.
Isn't a cuck, like, by definition, a guy who, like, gets off on watching his wife be with another man?
Yeah, wouldn't this be the exact same thing in reverse?
No, I'm not saying that it's getting, like, I'm not watching. First of all, I'm participating. And second of all, it is
so if he's
something that's fulfilling
participating-
him, not fulfilling me.
Okay, I'm sorry. So if a man is participating while his wife is getting banged, then he's not a cuck?
I don't really have experience in that scenario, so
Well,
that's
it's
just not
logical
something I would be into.
entailment. If a man
That's not something
is
I'd be into.
participating, if a man is participating in his wife getting banged and he's participating in that, he's not a cuck now, or he is still a cuck?
I think it's probably different than being a cuck, maybe, but it's still not something I would be okay with.
How is that different? A cuck is allowing somebody else to plow your chick. That's what a cuck is.
Okay,
So
fine,
if you
if
allow
that's the
on
exact
purpose to allow a
definition, I
dude
thought it was just
to
watching.
plow your chick, you're a cuck. How would this not be just like basically reverse cuckism, right?
Well, I just think that in my scenario of two girls and a guy, with it being like your significant other, that for me, like, I really enjoy it's fulfilling to me to, like, make my man happy. And if that's something that makes him happy, if he said to me, it would really make me happy to have
Hail and
another
well met.
dude, I would say
Lol
no.
Paladins donated $100.02. My past bad decisions are
Way too
shameful
much
and
up on
be
the
hidden
screen
from
there.
society. My future bad decisions are open for discussion. You've got the mental maturity of a toddler. Stove hot. Maybe I shouldn't touch it again.
Thank you, Lil
Okay,
Paladins.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Good to see you in the chat, man. I mean, honestly, I was more interested if there were. You said you still have some sexually liberal viewpoints.
Yeah, I
Is
thought
it just
that was
the
it.
threesomes? Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought there was more. Do you want to, Andrew? Do you have more on
That's
this,
it.
or
That's it.
Yeah, I'm still struggling here with the delineation point. Why is there an actual difference if your husband wanted to watch you get banged by another dude? Why would that be different, really, than you allowing him to bang another chick? I don't really understand what the distinction here.
I mean, I think that, like, there's not really societies. There are, like, societies where a man has had multiple wives. There's multiple societies around the world and in history where that is acceptable, right? But you don't ever see it the other way around. So I guess it just is that way.
Yeah, that's
for a
an
reason.
appeal to history, right? It's fallacious argumentation on its face. You're just appealing to how things used to be. You're not telling us why they should be that
I'm
way
saying
now.
they are that way because that's just the way that it is. It's fallen in line that way, and I think they're different.
Oh, it is what it is?
No, they're obviously
that doesn't
different.
Listen, it doesn't tell me anything to say to me. So let me give you some more history. Here's some great history as well. The West has stayed monogamous under some form of Catholicism for almost time immemorial. Catholicism made the demand that the West stay monogamous, meaning one man, one woman. Mm-hmm. So you were kind of appealing past even the identity of the West, which has mandated this basically forever, mm-hmm. right? Wouldn't that be more of our history than the idea of having these kind of open relationships where you can just screw whoever you want?
I think that there's many successful couples that have, this has worked for them, and it's not whoever you want, it's maybe what you guys have defined is okay with both of you. So it's not just whoever. I mean, maybe some relationships are like that. They're just open to whoever. That wouldn't be something that I would be interested in.
Okay. So let me back up. I'm just going to make this as concise as I can because it's very evasive what's happening. I feel like you're doing everything you can to kind of duck the question. So I'm just going to be as blunt and concise as I can be. A man having sex with two women is different than a woman having sex with two men. How?
Well, are we talking about just strangers, or are we talking about a married couple?
Any couple. Or any variation of any configuration of couple you can possibly think of. How is this, what is the difference here?
Because I think, I mean, a man doesn't want to see, it's not desirable for a woman to be with multiple men, and a man wouldn't want to see that because they're naturally possessive and want what's theirs. But for a woman to share, I think, is different. Like, a man does like that. That probably makes him feel really good and like wanted.
Then it would logically follow that if the idea is because this is what men like to see, that if a man would like to see his wife getting plowed by another man, what exactly could ever be your objection to that?
I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about my own personal preference. That can be a scenario that some couples are okay with, and I'm sure it is. It's not for me.
Okay, but you think, but I just want to make sure that we're totally clear. The only delineation point that you can see is how this isn't basically exactly the same thing in reverse, because that's exactly what it is in reverse. It's just that men prefer it not to be that way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Does anybody agree or disagree with me?
Just moving on.
Giovanni JD donated $100. If my wife went on a podcast with millions of viewers and talked about getting porked by some Z-list scumbags and his friends, I'd leave her so fast. If he sticks with you, he's a cuck and deserves you.
Oh.
I took some MILF.
I'm not sure how to respond to that. I think that's a fair point. I guess I don't totally disagree, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Fair point.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
All right. Thank you, Giovanni.
Hillary Epstein donated $100. Is LA just a cesspool for degeneracy? Why are so many of girls sex workers or just scam men? Why is she mad about stripping? Your son should be ashamed.
That one really hurt. Yeah.
Do you want to respond?
Just, yeah, he might end up being, like, I really only care about what my kids think, and nobody else really. So, maybe it wasn't the best decision to come on here. Like I said, I thought we might have talked about other things that I was more interested in talking about. But yeah, we have a very close bond, and he's getting older, and I'm sure he's going to realize, he has a hot mom. He's going to be getting into high school. That he's going to have to deal with a lot of stuff. So
I took some MILF.
How is this not a political topic? This is a very hot political topic, in fact. You're talking about the discussion of traditional families, marriage, the structure of society itself. It couldn't be a more political topic. And so if you say on the politics front that you're okay with non-monogamous relationships where they're opened up to having other sexual partners, you are talking about the social order and the political order of society. I don't even understand why those would be distinct in your brain. What political topics did you want to talk about exactly?
Let's see. Gender roles a lot, I guess. It's the thing that we can't say the thing that the agenda.
What agenda?
Brian, the agenda. I can't say the.
Yeah, I don't want to talk
Okay.
about that.
All right, yeah. So things that nobody wants to talk about.
Wait, hold on. Are you talking like trans stuff?
Oh yeah, that stuff. Yeah.
You said, okay, I'll just say it. You said LGBTQ, but you would fuck a woman in a threesome?
Yeah, what
but I'm
do you
not-
mean? What are we
What?
talking about here?
Wait, you said, okay,
I'm
fine,
not
I'll just
bis-
say it.
I'm not
You wanted to
bisexual.
talk about LGBTQ, but you'll have a threesome.
Yeah, I said I didn't like the agenda. Like I don't like how it's being pushed in schools. I don't like how it's
So
everywhere.
that's not really within the purview of the podcast.
Oh, okay.
I'm not inclined to talk about it.
Well, what about the agenda would be wrong, right? It's like all you're doing is griping about same-sex people saying that it's perfectly acceptable for them to be engaged in same-sex activity, and yet here you're saying it's perfectly acceptable for you to be engaged in same-sex activity. Like I don't even understand what would even be the complaint.
It's not just saying accept that we like that. It's just putting shoving it down your throats. Like it's fine to do things like behind closed doors or to say I want equal, like to say I'm in a relationship, but with a woman, like great, but to have a parade and
This
do
ain't
all
the
that
podcast
stuff. Yeah.
for it.
Okay. All right.
I don't know why you would come on this podcast thinking that's what we're going to talk
Okay.
about.
I'm sorry.
It's
My
a
mistake.
dating podcast.
I know, but I noticed that those topics have come up before. So
I don't think that specific topic.
like the trans stuff, because you've had trans guests. So
Cooking?
No, we have.
That has nothing at all to do with homosexuality, just so you know. You can be a
It's
transgender person, not be a homosexual, correct?
yeah, but it's part of the letters. It's all the thing. But
Yeah, but you could just infinitely add on to that, right?
Right.
You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Could be added in addition to this, but it really has nothing to do ultimately. That just because that's a tagline doesn't actually mean anything, right?
Yeah. So moving things on, you said that you're very conservative politically, more liberal sexual dating viewpoints. You agree with a lot of what the host's opinions. You think something that you'd love to discuss is how people can change.
Yeah.
I certainly have over the years, and I feel the host and Chase more specifically, mind you, Chase has not been on in almost a year,
see,
are very dismissive to the thought of dating someone who may have a lot of experience but has truly changed. Yeah. So you're talking like a man who doesn't want to date a woman.
who may have done stuff like work in her past like that.
What's wrong with that?
Wait, you said work?
What would
Yeah.
actually be wrong with that?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I feel like, when I look back on being a vegan, for instance, I'm just like, that was the most annoying part of my life. Like, I was so annoying, like, just talking about it all the time, just trying to push it on people all the time. Like, you can really, really change. And, like, I think it should be more based off of who the person is now and what their opinions are now and their perspectives.
Sure.
If they can also be honest with you in a
Well,
personal one-on-one about their past and leave it up for you to decide. But instead of blanketly saying, no, I only
What's
want
wrong with that? I don't think there's anything wrong with a blanket, like if you ever did this in your past, I entirely disregard you, even if you are an amazing, fantastic
Yeah,
person today. Now, if you used to do OF or porn or strip, you can be saved, you can be redeemed.
Yes.
But men do not need to then disregard your past and go on to date you and marry you. These two things are compatible. Or do you think men are obliged to date redeemed women?
No, definitely not obliged to. But
Right.
there, I mean, if
I
that's
can-
a hard.
If a woman wears pink socks, I can reject her on that basis alone. I can reject a woman for any reason I want.
You can.
Just in the same way that women will reject men for a wide variety of
Right.
completely arbitrary and benign reasons. Men are allowed to do the same.
I agree, but
Yeah.
the woman with pink socks maybe is going to make you the best tacos that you've ever had in your life. So I'm just saying that you guys are closing yourselves off to possibility of some potentially really great qualities and really great experiences. That's all I'm
Right,
saying.
but it's a total incompatibility if here's my standard. I don't date women who are or have been involved in sex work. Don't care how fantastic she is. This is a boundary. This is a standard.
Okay.
She could conceivably be the most compatible and we would otherwise have a fantastic relationship. But on this basis alone, I refuse to even engage with her. Even knowing she could be fantastic,
Yeah.
it is just a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
What's actually wrong with that?
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just
Right.
saying that it's a little closed-minded. Like
Why
I
is
get
it
it.
close-minded?
It's just
I
like
would
you're being
never-
selective of what you're looking for.
You mean the
It's like,
same
don't
way
we
that
all-
women are
Yeah, we all
incredibly...
do it.
We all have
We
our
all do.
standards.
I would
That's
never
your
date a
standard.
vegan,
Everyone's
and I would
Wait,
never date a
who's more
liberal.
picky, men or women?
Women, I think.
Well, y'all are super close-minded about all the things that you look for in a man.
We literally said that
Maybe you
earlier.
guys should consider dating a guy who's shorter. Maybe you should consider a guy who doesn't make X amount of money.
Well, that's what we said
I
earlier.
ha-
when he was
I
like,
would.
lower your
I would
standards.
totally
That's
do
not what
that.
I'm saying. I'm speaking in generalities.
Right. So, right. But I'm speaking like personally. I'm just saying you might be missing out on some amazing
Okay, but
women.
so like, you have to understand though. So, if you were engaged in this kind of work, regardless of how fantastic you are now, most men are not going to appreciate their future wife having nude photos of them on the internet. That's forever. You can't
Yeah.
take that back.
I
and then
agree.
your future children are not going to appreciate that too.
Yeah. That's why I would never have an OnlyFans. I just wouldn't do
But
that.
you said you did
But that was
girl on girl stuff.
right. That was different.
It's
time.
probably out there somewhere.
Yeah. And
Was it video or picture?
I was in a magazine.
It wasn't video?
Magazine of
There-
threesome? How's that possible?
Okay.
It's just
No,
pictured. Yeah, I
no,
don't
no,
think
no.
they're
That
like out there.
that wasn't. The threesome conversation was something different.
But I mean, like, okay, so I just don't understand. Why is it like closed-minded?
Because it's closed-minded because you're dismissing an entire, like for instance, and there's lots of
So
okay.
what's wrong
yeah,
with
you can.
No,
You
but what
can
is
do that.
actually wrong with dismissing an entire cohort of people?
No, you totally can. I do that all the time. I don't like to date guys in California, so there we go.
But there's kind of an even worse entailment here. Like for instance, would you ever drink ayahuasca tea and then go naked kayaking with a group of strangers?
Osmosis 12 donated $100. Girl to girl, respect yourself. You might be frightened that a man will cheat, but any man okay with doing that does not love you and does not respect you and is the type to cheat. Threesome topic.
Yeah, we can back up to that, but like,
Thank you,
would
Osmosis.
you drink ayahuasca tea and
There's
then
another
get in a
one coming
kayak
in,
full of
just
naked
FYI.
strangers?
Probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah, probably not. But I mean, isn't that being closed-minded?
No, I've just said probably. I didn't say I would for sure never do that.
Oh, okay. Well, would you
I'm not
by
inclined
chance
to do it.
would you by chance go and get into a gangbang with 15 different guys
Absolutely
at the same
not.
time while it was being filmed?
Absolutely not, filmed or not.
Oh, well, wait. Aren't you being closed-minded?
No, I just said that's fine. You're right. I just said
Valuable
that's fine.
experiences.
I said that I do. I
Wait,
said that I do that as well.
Would you date a man who previously had sex with men?
No, absolutely not.
But he's bi. He's not
No.
gay. He's
No.
bi.
No.
So he is attracted to women.
No.
Well, that's very close-minded of you.
I think girl on, Girls with girls is different. Girls.
Well, I'm not
can-
even making that argument. I'm
Okay,
just
good.
saying,
I
like,
think
that's
guy
in-
and guys, like,
it's in his
completely
past,
different
but
thing.
you could be missing out on a really fantastic.
Yeah, what about all the
Yeah, you're right.
experiences, right?
You're right. So I'm seeing where you're coming from. Absolutely not. Would never do that. Never.
Right.
So I get it. So that's a standard for me.
Well, that's what I mean is the idea, I would agree with you. There is all sorts of potential, I suppose, experiences or things that you could be missing out on.
Yeah.
But the thing is that why isn't that true of literally everything?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is. So.
Could be. Oh, let me let the chats come in. I paused them temporarily. Yo, Hillary, thank you.
Hillary Epstein donated $100. Repent and regret are not the same thing. Your son watches. He knows. Admit you made a mistake and educate him and the sex workers in the audience of how it's a terrible idea. You can set an example.
Yeah, I agree. It is a mistake.